Hey guys, it's Krystal and Lucia here, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor. Krystal Moore, this is Realtor Live. And guys, I'm very excited to announce our guest today, Rory Mitchell. Hello, Rory.
Crystal, how's it going? How you been?
I have been so good, so good. Rory is awesome. He actually is one of the reasons that this podcast got better significantly because he is amazing and spent some time with me on how to make it better, how to use editing tools, which I was not using before. And Rory has a lot of experience as the host and owner of the Mitchell Report Unleashed podcast. So good.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, thank
Thank you
you. I
for
like
being
that. I
here.
like you ushering me in with that
Sure,
warmth on a Monday.
absolutely. It's magic. So Rory and I were just chatting before we pressed record, and we were trying to figure out this is like the best time with people when you don't quite remember when they entered your life, but you know it was cool. So we can't figure out where we met. For sure, we connected with the fight to end homelessness here in London, for YOU because we both have a passion for giving back. But yeah, I don't remember where the line was, like that line where my life is divided before Rory and after Rory, which, you know what? It was seamless.
I think, I think I could peel all the layers back and go back from your husband, Brett, a brilliant mind, business owner, community leader, a legend. I know he's a Detroit Lions fan, all that good stuff.
You could,
Just
I
just
love
hearing
it.
about him, right? So hearing about him in the earlier, so fun fact for the audience, him and he probably won't remember my mother, but my mother worked with alongside of him when he was at some point in time, like property. Yeah, so she was a part of, I think it was called advanced property at one point in time. So I know
What's your
that
mom's
he
name?
has, sorry?
What is your mom's first name?
Laurel. So
That's
they had like cross comparisons. Like she knew of him. I don't know if he knew of her, but I know that just with what he did with the windows and things like that
yes.
and property rentals, I know
Yeah,
that they've crossed paths. So I would always
that's
say is like you
exciting.
work with each other to a degree, right? And things
Yeah.
like
Okay.
that.
I like
Yeah.
that. That is where I will say, like, so I've been in London, Ontario now for 7 years. This is my seventh year. And I get so excited because my husband, Brett, if you know him, he knows everyone. He's like the unofficial mayor. And so when I have the opportunity to introduce him to someone in the city that he doesn't know yet, I'm like high-fiving myself. It feels very good. But yeah, so most likely through Brett because Brett knows everyone and everyone loves Brett. And then obviously Fight to End is with Brett too. So very exciting. So Rory, I'm going to ask, so I'm always curious. So you run this awesome podcast, The Mitchell Report Unleashed. Where did that come from? Like, how long have you been doing it? And
Whew.
why did you start doing it?
Man, oh man. What a conversation that we could unpack so many different layers. So a
Yeah.
lot of folks don't know just London, Ontario. I actually started in health and fitness. Right?
Okay.
So health and fitness would have been around 2011, 2012,
Okay.
helping build that gym. There were some things that happened, things like that, which led me to leave that gym. It happens, change is always good.
Yes.
And in 2016, I remember it was on a Sunday evening, I said something was coming. And it was
Okay.
on the heels of just a whim. I said a podcast will be launching. And it was
Hey.
also even impacting on the social injustice, what was happening in 2016 with Colin Kaepernick taking the knee for the national anthem in the NFL. And I
Okay.
said, you know what? I'm going to create this podcast. And ever since, that's what led me to doing that, but still keeping health and fitness and all my other endeavors into position, into the lane, and all that other good stuff there too.
Very cool. And I will say, I've had the opportunity and privilege to be interviewed on Rory's podcast, and you're a very, very good interviewer. Like, you feel really comfortable, and you give a disclaimer beforehand. You're like, I don't even know where this is gonna go. You're like, this is our framework, but you just like, we'll see what happens. And it was a really good conversation. I remember that.
Yeah. I think when you say that, I do appreciate that. And I think giving our flowers to folks is something that we need to consistently keep doing.
Yes.
Um, Life's too short, and I think that when we see creators or entrepreneurs and business owners doing some great things, if it's in their respective cities or in other communities or worldwide,
Yeah.
we have to give those flowers. So I do appreciate that. I received that here today. And even yourself, like looking at your journey on social media and just knowing what you're doing. And I see the smiling faces and I see the impact, the community events, the networking events. I said I'm going to be at the upcoming one. I love what's going on. So keep
Thank
it
you.
going and just foot on the gas, you know?
It's funny
Absolutely.
what you when you said about like community. So I mentioned I told you I would tell you what this is about. So one of our do you know Jenna Goodhand?
Do
The
I
fancy.
do I drop some spoilers on this podcast? Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay. So I also love Jenna Goodhand, and Jenna and I have known each other through networking for quite a few years. And we were talking and she was telling me about this thing called laughter yoga. And I mean, I love laughter and I'm not opposed to yoga. I learned about it. I almost became a yoga teacher. But I was like, okay, tell me more. Laughter yoga. So laughter yoga is basically you get together and you're led through a bunch of exercises with a bunch of people that you don't know and you laugh the whole time, which sounds insane, and it is insane, except that at the end of it, whether you went into it not feeling great or you went into it feeling fantastic, you feel like 1,000 times better at the end of it because your body doesn't know that you're not supposed to be laughing, right? So your body just you start laughing and you laugh. I've been to a Tony Robbins UPW, Unleash the Power Within, twice. And one of the things he makes you do, he like shuts down the lights, whether it's 6,000 people, 11,000 people, whatever. It's dark. He makes you lie down on the floor, on a chair, whatever. And for like a silent, like 2 minutes, all you're allowed to do is laugh. You have to think of something funny and just start laughing. And I will tell you, the energy in that room, like I anchored it. So if I touch my ear, I still feel that feeling. But this laughter yoga, and I'm going to send you an invite. And if anyone listening wants an invite, it is on Thursdays. It's free, it's half an hour, it's a safe place to be. But it's the coolest thing. Like you feel silly, except that everyone else is doing it too. So you don't feel silly. So,
I
yeah.
love that. So speaking to Jenna, we had when I say spoilers, we had a conversation. This is leading to something that's going to be probably, I don't know when this is coming out. We're doing a collaborate, a very interesting collaboration that's going to be happening.
Okay. Is it on
So shout
laugh
out.
or death?
Ooh, we're going deeper than that. Deeper than
Oh,
that. We're
okay.
going, I think, on just lifestyle and,
Okay.
I think just dynamics of life. But it's
Yes.
gonna be good.
Okay.
We're gonna be joined with another
I'm
special guest as
excited.
well, too. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, very good. But yeah, so laughter yoga. But I think the thing is like anything you can do to make your experience on this planet better and hopefully make the experience of the people around you better is everything, right?
1000%. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so back to you. So 2016, you have this moment and you're like, I really want to do something. I want to make a change. Podcast is on the brink. How does it turn into something?
Listen, it was a lot of trials and tribulations. I
Okay.
remember recording. Let's even you really, I don't know how deep you want to go, but let's go deep though.
Let's go deep. Let's go deep.
I remember recording with a Bluetooth speaker and using FaceTime audio or calling my guests in and projecting the podcast mic and everything to the close in the spare bedroom to amplify and soundproof everything that was going on at the time. This was before
Wow.
the time of using cameras, but it
Yeah.
was just a mic, my Bluetooth speaker, my MacBook Air, which I still have from 2013 when I used to work at Apple, and just recording the content and learning editing on the fly,
Okay.
learning audio editing to where it gradually increased, where you improve your mics through,
Yeah.
just saving money, things like that, to getting to the point where I said, you know what? I got called out on a podcast like this. We're using Zoom at the time. And she goes, if you don't turn on your camera, we're not doing the recording. This was in and around 2021, 2022. And that day I turned my camera on, made sure the
Yeah.
lighting wasn't the very best. I was using just, ceiling lights.
Yeah.
And then bang, that's where it just took off. And I think that what I say to a lot of folks is by any means necessary, we go through a lot of fluff in life.
Yeah.
We got to pay our taxes. We may have a husband, wife, or kids or girlfriend, all of that stuff, but never give up on what it is you're doing by any means necessary. At least put
Yeah.
in 30 minutes to an hour a day, to
Oh,
make a
I love
difference.
that. And guys, like I don't know if you caught what Rory said. So we have a lot of people, and they are taking course after course after course on AI, and not that these courses are bad, but the AI and how to do videos and how to do audio, and that's fantastic. But what did Rory do? He took action. He didn't know what he was doing necessarily at the beginning, but you figured it out. And I think that is like when as I'm talking to all of these amazing leaders and listening and reading and everything, that is the theme. Take action. And it's not to say that you shouldn't spend time. Like, obviously, you could have done the exact same thing for 10 years and it would be weird. But you started, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to tweak this, I'm going to tweak that. And as far as it goes with like the video, I started doing video, I think 3 years ago, we added the video because I realize that some people just want to hear the audio, and I get that, right? But some people just want to watch the video and they want to see your face and they want to see, right? It's cool to see like what does someone look like when they're speaking. And so good for you for for not trying to like dig in and say absolutely not.
Well, let's peel the layers back even more. It's studying the greats in your industry, right? It's
Yes.
studying the folks that are creating the podcast. Before we did the, was it 16 by nines and the captions on the videos, people were just posting the stuff,
Yeah.
learning from Gary Vee, and you just keep studying and saying, okay, what are they doing? To where it ventured me to go to YouTube and open directory base.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of us have YouTube Premium. We can pay the, what is it now? I think $20 a month after taxes. But going on YouTube and really understanding and simplifying your processes.
Okay.
There's so many different apps out there. Let's even don't even talk about AI yet, but there's so many apps that are out there, free apps on our devices. I've been all about Mac. So you had Final Cut, iMovie. Final Cut's a $300, $400 program, but you have iMovie. Then you have GarageBand. Those are built into the system.
Okay.
So learning those is just by going on YouTube. Let me go to a YouTube video tutorial, how to edit through
Yeah.
GarageBand. Bang, you're right there. You have the information that's going to change your situations. So I think what happens is a lot of folks get down hard on themselves
Yeah.
and they look at these devices that we have and they get overwhelmed. So they're like, well, well, Rory, Crystal, where do I start? Start with self, slow down to then build yourself back up or
Yeah.
ask questions, right? Ask someone in your network, hey, do you understand GarageBand? If you don't want to do the YouTube situation and you want a more hands-on approach,
Yeah.
meet with that person in a coffee shop, meet with that person inside your home, meet somewhere to where you can learn it together. And that's how you build another person to your community
Yep.
or someone that's going to be able to like guide you and put the water wings on, you know?
Yes, you know what, and that's a really good point. For anyone listening that is not an I person, I also am an Android person. I hope we can continue the chat, Rory, and it's not gonna go sideways. Okay, so our house is an Android house, but I'm surrounded by people that use like Apple products. So it really comes down to I do have an iPad, and that's how I FaceTime my grandma. But the at the end of the day, it's really whatever you're comfortable with, and right? And that's why there's two, because we can't agree on anything.
For sure, for sure. And I think that, you know what, technology has it's just it's so vast now. Like I remember like
Yeah.
learning I had a hack. Like I worked at Apple in 2012 to 2016. And what I learned, and I will always take this, I'll take this to the grave with me.
Yeah.
uh, Johnny Ives, who was a part of Apple. A lot of folks may not know who that is, but we had behind the scenes access. And
Okay.
when he did some of the videos, he would always talk about the simplicity and the way he would just roll that off his tongue. Simplicity. Yes, technology. Yes, these apps. Yes, this hardware looks like it's challenging, but if you just scale it back a little bit, it becomes simple over time. We all got to learn.
Yeah.
We learned when we were in kindergarten to grade 1 to grade 5 to high school to college or university. So why are we not putting that back into ourselves when it comes down to our technology?
For sure. And I think sometimes people think it's more complicated than it is. Like that's when it comes down to it, like I for the longest time was just posting things straight from like I record on Zoom, put it onto Spotify, put it onto YouTube. But then you showed me Riverside, and it's actually like it takes a little bit longer, but it doesn't take really any more effort from me. Like I have to like it just does its thing, and then I get to choose which ones I want. But it was having the chat. with a trusted colleague, a trusted friend to say like I love doing this podcast. I love having it, but I feel like it could be better for the people listening. Can you help? And you taking the time out of your day to say, absolutely, here I am.
Yeah, 100%. But that's the thing. It's like the Michael Jordan effect.
Yeah.
Reach one to teach one,
Yeah.
right? If there's something that I know and I look at the parameters, the understanding of you, I've already, known of Brett through doing London Gives Back. Let's go even back
Yes.
there. London Gives Back. Why am I hoarding all the information? Because
Yeah.
I know that you're attached to him, which is like, yo, I'm gonna obviously help in some which way.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Not everyone you can give the information to because it's all about the, well, what's in it for me type of approach.
Yeah.
And that's something that happens a lot in collaboration. I'm pretty sure you've gone through it as well. Like one thing I can tell your audience is this: always vet the right individuals that you're working with
Yes.
because you will see who's coming to you for what reason. If it's a collaboration to be something long term,
Yeah.
5, 10 years down the road, then you're good.
Yeah.
But there's some that just see what you're doing. They just want to hop on the coattails.
Yeah. And I think a little bit it's generational, but we talk about this with networking all the time. Like, be a giver. Don't let anyone stop you from being a giver, but sometimes you just have to be a little bit more selective about who you are giving to, because some people are going to be just takers. And it doesn't mean that that should change who you are. But if you're only giving to a taker, that's a one-way street and you are going to be depleted. Same thing, like generationally, I notice younger and younger people, and I mean, I think to an extent we all do this, but younger generation of workers will often take ideas, just like take them and not give any credit, not give any thanks, not even think twice about it, and just run with it, forgetting that someone else has put all the work in, right? I think sometimes I don't know I don't know if it's right or wrong. From my side of the generational, like where I am in my career, I'm like, I'll notice that and I'll be shocked. I'm like, oh my goodness, like how could they not acknowledge or say something? But then I think on the other side, it's like, well, information is free for everyone.
It is, but here's the thing is, folks look at success, and I'm going to take David Goggins' message where he says success
Okay.
never runs in a straight line. So
Yes.
what happens is that folks will look at where you're at and
Yep.
see is, can I get there faster? How do I shortcut there faster?
Okay. Yep.
If I learn this within 2 months, can I leapfrog her? Because everything's from competition.
Yes. Okay.
The
That
only
makes
person we should be competing with is ourselves, not other people. Because
100%. Yep.
every day is one day to get better, 1% better every
Yes.
single day.
Yep.
That podcast episode, that business deal, that, savings for a house or a vehicle or
Yep.
whatever you're trying to do. 1% better each and every single day. Progression and slow progress is the most important thing.
For
Don't
sure.
look at somebody like, say, for instance, a celebrity and be like, oh, how did they get there so fast? They all have a story.
Yeah.
A lot of them had to live and sleep in their vehicle.
Yep.
And you know what? They made ends meet to push forward. And then they found the right people that were going to believe in them along the
Yes.
way. Part of life.
Yes. And you know what? So Brian Buffini, I'm a big fan. So I talk about him a lot, but the thing is like a lot of times he shares the story that people come up to him and they're like, "Oh, like I want to be a speaker too." And he's like, "Okay." And he's like, "And it's easy to want to be a speaker when you see him talking to rooms full of like thousands and thousands of people." He's like, "But if you want to do what I'm doing now, you have to do what I did." Right? So you have to go and travel like almost all year into half empty meeting rooms and hotels and not be sure like where that next paycheck is coming from and build and build and build. So people see, like I think the actual quote that he says is everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die to get there. Right? So all the work that's taken, people aren't looking at that. They just want the results.
Look at it, even speaks to musicians, comedians
Yeah.
having to be in empty, stand up, hole in the wall places
Yes.
where you see some of the best musicians had to perform with nobody in that bar. There may be one person at the bar just looking,
Yeah.
nodding, clapping their feet, doing whatever to where you see them on grand stages on the Grammys.
Yes.
And now they're performing for millions and millions, selling out arenas and things like that. Now, here's the thing about success, and it's apparent to a lot of folks. Not everyone's going to be a part of that top 10, 5%, 1%.
Yeah.
You have to look to say is what's going to work for you. Not
Yes.
everyone's going to get it, right?
Yep.
And I think that when it comes down to the entrepreneur, and then you look at the content creation side, and I really want to narrow and be specific with this.
Yes.
Some folks think that they can scale and get to that level, that ultimate level. Yo, I am like $50 million in the bank. I know that's a dream for a lot of folks,
Yeah.
but in reality, maybe it's only going to be 5 million.
Yeah.
And that 5 million can make your life a lot better because not all of us have $5 million in the bank. I'm going to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Let's be vulnerable and let's be honest.
100%. Yep.
If
Absolutely.
we had $5 million in the bank, both of you and I, this conversation's happening in like Turks and Caicos on a beach with
Yes.
sunlight and seagulls and whatever.
And I'm searching for my next property because I'm a good realtor.
There you go, right?
Yeah. No, exactly.
But we're making do with what's going on. Now, we're not diminishing each other, but it's to say to folks is that not everyone's going to be that ultimate success person. I'm starting to see that a lot with streaming,
Yeah.
doing a little bit of gaming on that. I haven't even really cracked open the doors.
Right.
And what I want your audience to understand is that we have to start studying folks that are on that upper end of success,
Yes.
but not over consuming and being like, we want to love that celebrity.
Yeah.
Study that person where they at in that
Like a
specific
mentor.
role, right?
Yeah.
Because you'll then see how to get to where you need to get to. And I'm going to tell you, success is not for everyone. Success is not even about money, ladies and gentlemen. It's about
100%.
sometimes it's showing up
Yep.
every single goddamn day. Show up.
Yeah.
As long as if I'm telling you, if you show up 30 minutes to that hour,
Yep.
you're gonna see differences. You're
Yes.
gonna see differences in your life. By the time you get to year 2, year 3, and you've been consistent, it's
Yeah.
gonna pay off. It's gonna pay off.
I think the thing too, and I share this a lot when I'm mentoring agents, is that oftentimes we compare, and I think comparison robs joy, right? And so if you are if you're looking at someone else's life and that's what you're building, that's not your path, right? So even if you got the success that someone else wanted, you might not be happy at the top of that mountain. It's not your mountain. Your mountain may have different things. You may want to travel. You might want to write a book. You might want to garden more, like whatever it is. And it's okay that someone, like if you look at your unique happy place, it's okay if it doesn't match someone else who has $5 million in the bank. Like it really comes down to the one life we have. And what are you going to do with it?
1000%. And you know what? I'll even say this. When you're in your communities, always know who you're working with.
Yeah.
The biggest component we have in this world is about now word of mouth.
Yeah.
And it's not too much about like groundbreaking, we got to dig through the trenches. Yes, we got to dig, but sometimes about word of mouth. One picture on social media can open up so many doors depending on who you're standing or you're sitting with. And
Yep.
a lot of folks look at that and it's underrated. That's why I say sometimes when you go to those networking meetings and you may see that person,
Yeah.
it's not like you're trying to clout chase by any means, but take that picture because what it adds is a level of social proof to who
Does.
you
Yeah,
are, right?
absolutely. And
And this
network, right? Network.
exactly exactly. And when you have that social proof, I'm gonna tell you something. It's very interesting who then starts appearing in your DM,
Yes.
who starts sending you emails. Hey, Rory, Krystal, I see you right here. Then the conversation
Yeah.
starts coming. But now what you have to use your discernment and your lens to say is
Yeah.
this person someone I want to work with
Yeah.
or why are they here? Is it
Are
because
they
they
just
saw that picture?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Things like
it's
that.
yeah, it's kind of like the that old adage that like if someone's with you for money, they don't love you, they love your money. And if the money goes, they go too. And so if they're with you because of your status or your friends, if anything were to happen, they would go too. And that's an empty existence, right? You don't want people to be around you unless they're around you because of you.
Yeah. And you see that happen with success. Like I'll say this even with the podcast. I've had locals in London, locals in Toronto, locals and worldwide, to where I've etched names with pinch me moments of Montel Williams, who was on TV talk shows, his
That's
own
exciting. Yeah.
syndicated talk show. And now you go places locally and people notice that.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting how you know you're walking in a room because your existence, your motion, your the way you just appease and you appear to people,
Yeah.
they take you so seriously. I'm gonna speak to a situation. I was out, random friend of mine, acquaintance. It's like, hey man, how's it going? There was a lady that was there, turned to him because then she told me the story. So I have to kind of paraphrase a lot of what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
She goes, do you know who you're talking to? He goes, yeah, that's just Rory. She goes, no, that's not just Rory. He has a podcast. And it's interesting how so many folks put you into this instant realm.
Yeah.
And she turned to me, she goes, nice to meet you. She goes, I've heard and I know about your show. And I go, appreciative. If you walk with an ego, I want to really focus on this because you see it sometimes.
Yeah.
If you walk with an ego or you think you're better than folks, nobody's gonna isn't gonna want to entertain the idea of wanting to meet with you or say, "Hey, how's it going?"
100%.
So
Yeah.
your appearance and how you stand up for what it is you believe in and how you're respectful out there. When you walk out there, we're all under surveillance. Anywhere we go, could
Yeah.
be in the city of London, could be in Toronto. Anywhere you go, someone knows you because guess what? My phone's plugged in. I can't use it right now, but people look at your phone and they just say, wait, I saw this guy on Instagram through a clip,
Yeah.
or I've seen him on social media because we're all linked. This social media stuff is all connected,
Yeah.
right? You notice if you say a name of a brand, it's going to show up on your Instagram or your Facebook feed.
Yes.
So do you not think that we're all linked? Like we're all linked in comparison. So I always say to folks is know who you are when you go out there and sometimes be humble and show a lot of humility with what we're doing because you don't know who you may run into. You don't know who you may run into.
It is so true. And I find that like, so I think it's because I don't, as much as I'm very vocal on social media and my email signature looks like a resume just because I'm proud of everything. I don't like unless someone asks, I don't go into like my education, my experience and blah blah blah. But when people find out all the things I've done or if they see me at things, they're a little bit surprised. I'm friendly. I don't explain myself, but I think that's the confidence that you need to have. That's not arrogance, right? Because I think false confidence comes from needing to prove something to people, and just the confidence of knowing you belong in a room, I think is what I find like when I see people, anyone that I've ever modeled or emulated, that's what they had. And that's what I'm very proud of myself for feeling that way now. But it wasn't like that at the beginning. At the beginning, right? Like when you feel like, oh goodness, like, should I be here? But I think to what you're saying, it's it's okay that you garner a certain amount of respect because of the work you've done. You just don't have to walk around thinking that you're better than everyone because of it.
Oh, listen,
It,
I see it all the time though. And
yeah,
I'm just like, it jeopardizes a lot of things. It
yeah,
jeopardizes friendships, relationships. You be out in community places and folks are like, oh, look who just walked in. You don't want that energy. You
no,
want, oh my God, that's Krystal. That's Rory. When you hear that,
yeah,
folks are like, what the hell's going on here? Who just
yeah,
walked in the building? You know what I mean? But it's just what I'm trying to say to folks is just be mindful.
yes,
I think what happens is a lot of folks come from a selfish perspective. They're not
okay,
selfless,
okay,
right? Be selfless in your approach. Be humble. Sometimes when you see that young person walking out there, now I see folks, and if we meet eye to eye, I'm bowing my head. They have the choice if they want to bow their head again. Or some people put up their hand, right?
yeah,
Because I think we're in this world that there's so much stuff going on that we lose sense of self and we walk around like we're just do 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 do, and we're not thinking about that other person that we walk into our communities with. I'm not
yeah,
saying you got to do it with everybody, but sometimes you don't know. You don't know what that person's going through.
yeah,
They're frustrated at work. They're freaking, man, they're just like, you know what? I just got off work. Screw this. I'm in this grocery store. You see them, you bow your head. You say,
Yeah.
hey, how's it going? It catches people off guard sometimes. But then you'll see people, oh, thanks. Hey, doing well. And you go about your day because you
Yeah.
warm them, you
And you
know?
show them that you care, right? Like I think for me, I mean, anyone that knows me for 5 seconds, I am like a serial hugger. I love hugging. And so even after COVID, we did like I was always doing like the dance with people. Like, are we doing this? Are we...
Remember when you had to touch elbows? It was
Yeah.
like, let's
Oh
touch
my God.
elbows.
I don't even know if you know this story. Brett and I felt so bad. So we went to one of the last networking events, like right before the world shut down. This was for, I think it was the Chamber Business After Five. It was at like an axe throwing place. And this is like March 13th. Okay. And everything closed March 16th. So they're trying to announce to everyone, like, hey guys, be careful. They had like a person at the front with the hand sanitizer. And we thought it was hilarious because we had no idea anything was happening. And so we were like L bumping everyone, thinking that we were like going overboard, but little did we know the world was about to end. So like when we found out everything was like shut down on the Monday, we were just like so embarrassed because they were just trying to help, and here we are being children.
That was a time. That was a time in life because I said to someone, I was like, this is nothing. And the next thing you know, it's 6 years later, and I feel like we're still paying the price.
But
Some
I
of
think
us
it's
are.
yes, but that's all we knew, right? We just knew like, okay, we had heard of like SARS and H1N1. There's always something. So the fact that all of a sudden it's like you can't do anything. You can't go out, you can't work, you can't go to the grocery store without a mask on. Like it really changed. Actually, to your point about musicians and comedians, we watched the Trues. Okay, so the Trues had a concert at Dan Danbury Hall. No, the anyway, there's a the Danforth.
Yeah,
Is
in
that
fourth and Toronto, yeah.
so they had this concert, but obviously no one could go because of COVID. So they play this amazing song, amazing. Like you can see, he's just giving it everything. And at the end, he's like just like out of breath, standing with his microphone, looking around at an empty room, and he's like, "This is my worst nightmare." Given everything, and not even like even the camera guy had wasn't allowed in the room, so it was just like him and the camera, and just like crickets.
You know, I'll say it's so funny you say that because you had to, it's improvising. You look
Yes.
at, I'm still a big component of pro wrestling. They had to compete in empty arenas, and you see a lot of them embodied with off like the normal crowd reaction, they would still do it. So it
Yeah.
felt that authentic feel. And it's like those times we look back, it was we sit back and we're just like, I feel like we took a lot for granted leading up to that, to where the whole world shut down. But you know what it all comes back to? The innovation that came from a lot of that.
Oh,
I know that there was sickness and death and this, but
yeah.
it's the innovation, the creators, the entrepreneurs, they're people that were just like, they were just, it's like they needed that to happen.
We're gonna
I
figure it
think
out.
that, yeah, I think that a lot of folks that became entrepreneurs out of that were built, forged through iron, I like to say. A lot of
Oh, I
content
love
creators
that. I
really,
use that too.
they super exceeded to where they needed to go to because you know what? They felt the world stopped, but I'm not going to stop with the world stopping. I want to bet
100%.
those chips on myself. I'm going to just learn all the information. I'm going to read all the books.
Yes.
Because, Crystal, you know what the thing is? And you know what my biggest pet peeve is? So many folks talk about reading. They read all these books, but
Yeah.
are they applying the knowledge from the book that they're reading?
Yeah. That's the
You
thing.
can read all those books, but what are we doing with that information? You need to know how to disseminate that information to change again your situations.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
reading's good. It
Reading is
improves
good.
a lot.
Yeah.
If you wanted to apply it to something, well then how do we get to where we need to get to, you know?
And that's, I think a lot of the times as I suspected, we are going to run out of time, but we still have like 20 minutes. We're okay. Um,
Fine, don't worry about it. We can
um,
power out what we need to power out.
but I think a lot of the time people they'll read a book thinking that that's a fast track. Like we talked about people wanting to fast track. And the thing is you can't fast track learning, right? Like there are foundational blocks and can you make it like the most efficient? Yes, you can. But the human mind, like you need the time to learn. So whether it's, I was just talking with someone about this, like with guitar or a language or finances or AI, like whatever it is, you just need to give yourself the time to learn. And if you do, if you actually put the time in, like you were saying, like show up, put that time in, the results will be amazing. But you can't just put it in for like a week and be like, okay, so I'm good now.
But a lot of folks
Not.
do. A lot of folks
Yeah.
do. And
Yeah.
then they wonder why they're not seeing the success, right?
Yeah.
Why you can't start and stop with posting on social media, especially if you're using, Instagram Reels or TikTok Reels or Facebook stuff. You have to stay consistent. You have to at least show up at least once a week. If you have a podcast episode, once a week. If
Yes.
you want to do two, three, four episodes, go ahead. If you got the time, more power to you.
Yeah.
But when you don't show up, you're losing your sense of everyone buying into you because you don't know what your content is doing to impact that man, woman, or child.
Exactly.
So if you're not there at a certain specific time, like every Monday, or you take days off,
Yeah.
folks are gonna be like, all right, well, I gotta go find somebody else. Rory ain't there, Krystal ain't there. What am I doing? I'm finding someone else.
It's a good lesson though. Like I know with when I first started the podcast in 2020, I think 5 years, 6 years ago, I wasn't, number one, I didn't have a structured theme. I was kind of posting whenever. It's actually, you want something humbling? Go back to your first episodes. You can hear me like rustling the script.
Me, that's all you heard, breathing in the mic. People are like, yo, is this guy from Game of Thrones one of the fire breathing dragons? What's going on there?
So true. Thing is, here's the thing though, and you hear people all the time, like whether you speak, whether whatever, you have to go through that. That's part of it. Like that's you go like you'll keep getting better, but you have to start somewhere.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. Okay, so we know why you started your podcast. If you could go back and have someone like you come to yourself, you don't recognize yourself because that would apparently change the timeline of the world. But you go and you give yourself some advice that you wish you had gotten along the way. What are you telling yourself?
This is going to be a big one for a lot of folks because I think that it happens more times than none.
Okay.
The entrepreneur, the content creator
Yep.
is this: whatever you're doing, you got to understand not everyone's going to support it.
Yes.
Not everyone's going to rock with it. Not everyone's going to be there for you. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to put a lot of strain on a lot of relationships. Let's just speak on relationships, friendships, dating, marriage, because there may be that person that supports and understands, but where they've come from, they don't know how to give that back.
Right.
So then it's a clashing of both heads going like this consistently. When you see that happening, you have to then ask yourself one of two questions. Well, who am I doing this for? And this is going to come where it becomes a little bit selfish, and I may have contradict myself, but I'm not. But listen in, folks.
Okay.
You have to understand is that you came into this doing this yourself.
Okay.
If that person was in the realm of meeting you as you were starting that business, there has to be that disclaimer piece where this is my business. It's not like an eye for eye. If you don't support me, I'm out. But it's the support that should just be coming, no matter what. Doesn't matter if the person's plunging toilets or throwing out trash.
It's a
Support
huge,
that,
yeah, it's a huge value. You need
right?
to get someone that supports you. Absolutely.
Right? And if you don't have that, it's going to deteriorate you from not wanting to produce.
Yes.
And I'm going to say this to a lot of folks: you need to have peace and understanding to be able to elevate your mindset to create, to go forward.
Oh, I love that.
There
Yeah.
was times I got caught up in my head because someone may have said something about a podcast episode.
Yeah.
That's stopped now. That's
Good.
now stopped for the last 3 years. Because you
Good.
know what I've decided to keep telling myself? Rory, you're for who you need to be for. And those friends may support it from a distance and they may not support it. Okay, cool. Oh well. But you
Yeah.
know what I'm building in the next stages? I'm building a community that's gonna actually resonate with.
Yes, I love that.
right? It comes down to maybe even the dating aspect.
Yeah.
That can be very tricky because jealousy and envy starts coming into play.
Yeah.
One of my first projects that a lot of folks don't know I started was about blogging and music, and it was hella successful. All the
Okay.
followers, it was nuts, it was crazy.
Wow.
I got
Okay.
in my own head because somebody did not support me along the vision.
Okay.
But you know what? One of my friends, shout outs to him, he's over in New York. I've known him for years, said when I did that blog, it's basically the podcast reformatting itself to now where you're seeing what's going on. It's the
Oh,
continuous evolution of everything.
okay.
And I
Yeah,
was so gung ho on that. So I say that to say this to folks. The feedback I'd give to myself is do not pay attention to them.
yeah,
You get paid to do a job, do it to the best of your ability. Because
yeah,
there's two things in life: possession and disposition. Never make it.
for sure. Okay, so Rory, can you recap? So possession and position.
Mhm. So possession is going to come into the space of what you're doing,
Okay.
right? What you're in possession of for yourself, doing real estate, myself,
Yep.
podcasting,
Yep.
coaching, things like that. Then you have a position. That's that leadership position. So
Okay.
what happens is some folks conflict the two.
Okay.
And that's where I say is you don't want to lead too much with ego because
Right.
then folks can see through that. So what it
Okay.
means is just being yourself and just understanding that guess what? Not everyone's going to meet you where you're at, but it's for you to know how to navigate through the thing called life. And
I
you're going
love
to have
that.
to pick some hard choices. There's some
Yeah.
hard choices you got to make, right? I always say there's like a 4 to 5 pitch count in baseball, right? I use a lot of sports references.
Yes.
So you're going to get the changeup, you're going to get the slider, the fastball, the knuckleball, and then there's a curveball, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
You got to know which one to, you're going to have to throw some of them and you have to know how to hit.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're going to have to bunt. Sometimes you're going to have to know how to steal a base. Sometimes you're going to have to do that pop fly. At the end of the day, there's going to be critical choices if you're an entrepreneur,
Yes.
if you're a creator, or whatever you're doing in your life. And the thing is, just never, ever give up. I know it sounds like a John Cena montage.
It's
He'll
true
always say,
though.
never give up, but
But
never give up on yourself.
it's true. And I think ultimately, like even with your sports references, I think the key is to keep playing the game. Don't let the game play you,
Oh
right?
my good. Listen, I got goosebumps when you said that. I got goosebumps when you said
I love
that.
it. Well, and
Whew.
that's what like life can take over. If you are not in the driver's seat, it's still moving forward. So you need to like keep your eye on the prize, have clear goals, and then figure out like I think I was talking to Evan Carmichael, who is was on, and we were talking about that whole like what would you regret more when you're making decisions? You don't want to live a life of regret. And I think Tony Robbins talks about like sitting in the rocking chair at the end of your life, looking back, would you be proud of those choices? And that's how you can make the choices, right?
Absolutely. I'm
And
happy that you got in contact with Evan.
I am so excited. So I will say, guys, so Evan Carmichael, his episode, I believe, goes live in a month. And I'm very excited because when I sat down with Rory, we were talking about like different people that I was connected with. And it was Rory that suggested that I contact Evan and ask if he'd be on. And because I had met him, he was like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. And I was like,
But you know what
so
that comes from,
excited.
though? But you know what that comes from? It goes back to the podcast, and there's nuggets going to be for a lot of folks. It's
Yeah,
about who you're connected with. And the
yeah,
thing is, I don't know how you pitch to him or whatever, but it speaks to the valuing because if Evan goes in my DM right now or goes into my email and says, okay,
yeah,
who's Crystal Lee Moore-Luce here? I'm gonna sit back and say, oh, that's good people. You good. You good, good. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
it goes, there's some doors that will open through a
yes,
certain connection. Not
yes,
all keys open doors. It's just that this is the life we're in right now. So you
yeah.
know what I mean? I'm happy that that happened for sure.
Oh,
Definitely be
thank you
tuning into
again.
that episode. For sure.
A good
Anytime.
episode. Actually, and
Anytime.
because of that episode, I currently have not for these because it would drive people crazy, but Evan told me about something he learned. So he has a stand-up desk and a rebounder, it's like a trampoline. And so for a lot of my meetings now, I have Brett had gotten me a stand-up desk. I used it. And then I have a trampoline that I brought from our garage. And it
Let's
is so much
go.
fun.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Staying
Because we get
active while you
we're
guys are recording.
yes. Well, no, no, not for these. I feel like we'd give people like some sort of a headache or we
Hey, it's active lifestyle, but we're having great chats. You're adding
yes,
something innovation to podcasting. Why not?
so fun. Okay, so Rory, how can people reach out to you if they want more Rory?
If you want more Rory, listen, you have the Mitchell Report Unleashed podcast on
Yeah.
YouTube is your first destination.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram, officially.rory. I feel like I haven't had to plug my Instagram for whatever. But that's where you find me. Type in Rory Mitchell. It's everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Google, just Google. I'm there. You know what I mean?
Love
And
it.
I appreciate you. And you know what? We're gonna do this again.
I
We
absolutely
have to.
we will.
We have
Absolutely.
to.
Guys,
Absolutely, for
if
sure.
you enjoyed this conversation, please give us a like, let us know in the comments, follow, share, all the things. But thank you so, so much for listening. And Rory,
But before we get out of here, here's what I'm gonna do. No, 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 no. Because I gotta give my little promo real quick. Listen, if you listened, watch this podcast, and you are in Krystal's community, that like, that share, that comment goes a far way. Don't be a ghost follower. Don't just look at the content and then close out your phone or your device. Really tap in and pour into the creation side because we need y'all. We need y'all.
absolutely.
Trust me when I tell you. And it's an ecosystem. It doesn't cost anything to show a free like or support or to say to your friend or your family member, the dog next door, hey, listen to the episode. You know what I mean? It goes a far way. And I love and I appreciate everything you got going on. And honest to God, we got to do the nose touch. You better
Yeah,
capture
yes.
that. It's a once in a
Well,
lifetime thing. It's a once in a lifetime thing. I hope you caught it.
wait. So we also do a picture after we stop recording, but I can screenshot if I have to.
I'm giving it to you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. I so,
Yes.
so appreciate you. Rory, thank you for joining us today.
Appreciate you
Thank
too.
you. And everyone, thank you for listening. This is Krystal Limor Lucier, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor, Krystal Limor. This is Realtor Life, and I appreciate all of you. Bye.